I'm not sure if you can hear this. I sure hope you can. You probably hear some background noise, and that's the waves crashing in the background. Actually, they're not in the background. They're right in my face. I'm sitting here in Seacoast, New Hampshire, in beautiful Rye Beach on Route 1. And if you've never been, I really highly suggest you run, not walk, to this side of the tracks. This is the part of New Hampshire that allows me to feel I'm not in New Hampshire, especially from where I originally originated when plucked out of Connecticut as a teenager and put in a much smaller town. So for a lot of years I lived in New Hampshire in the White Mountains, and a few years ago I made the decision to move to the Seacoast. And I made the decision to move to the Seacoast, and it turned out to be for the wrong reasons, but still the right decision. Although I didn't live at the beach. I moved to right near the beach, about a minute and a half away, 2 years ago. And it is the place that I know is for me. This meditation this morning is for you, with the ocean waves crashing right up against and drowning out my voice perhaps, but hopefully it still comes through. Either you'll love this meditation or you'll freaking hate it because of the noise. But as I look at the waves crashing on the rocks in front of my face today, I'm out here, and it's January 16th in the very early morning, and it is pretty cold. I've got a good layered vest on and some high furry boots and a hat and gloves, but I also have a great blanket wrapped around me. So here I am. And as I'm out here and I'm looking at the waves and I'm shivering, I'm recognizing that this is what it's like internally for most of us. All our thoughts crashing around like these waves crashing on rocks, coming in one right after the other, like they are this morning in this beautiful landscape called the Atlantic Ocean. This is what it is. Waves crash. Our thoughts are like waves, and they crash. And they can just, oftentimes if we're under stress and tension and fear and anxiety, and we're ruminating on something, usually because of fear, and our thoughts would just bang around, kind of like, if you're not at the ocean, like a washing machine out of balance, or like a pinball where the ball just goes boom, 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 boom. So the universe is showing us that the waves are crashing, and that's real. And meditation this morning is to you sit with yourself however you arrive, wherever you're at, whatever's happening inside you and in your life. And we're just meeting that. And I'll walk you through. I'll guide you through. And perhaps, even with the waves crashing around you, perhaps the sound will settle you and still your mind. And when you still your mind, the truths can reveal themselves. Creativity can surface. A solution to what you thought was a problem, or what's been a problem, has space. First, we meet the crashing waves of your thinking mind. We meet them. And you want to start really looking at your way of thinking a lot differently. A lot of people out there who struggle with anxiety, fear, paranoia, worry, stress, stressful thoughts, tense thoughts, depressing thoughts because you're in a depression. That's just your mind suffering. You're having thoughts that haven't been met back with loving, supportive counter thought, I guess. So perhaps this meditation can meet you back with something more supportive to however and whatever you've been suffering inside yourself from. Although the thoughts inside all our heads are quiet because they stay internal, they are as powerful as these crashing waves. So let's clear your mind. Let's clear the deck and bring you back toward some inner stillness and solitude. Sitting comfortably, cross-legged, however you want. How about you just sit however you want that is comfortable? My suggestion is just put a pillow under your buttocks to take any strain and any pull or tension out of your low back, any compression. That's my suggestion. Okay? If you can, sit up against something. Prop yourself up against a wall or your headboard of your bed or the back of a chair or couch, whatever. Sit comfortably to take pressure off your low back and to also relieve your spine, so that if you're a little more comfortable physically, you'll be able to sit with a little more peace. Right? Open your mouth, and as you want to get ready to breathe out, you want to breathe out till you feel and hear nothing left. Then just take a very slow breath in, nice and easy, okay? Hold it, please. Open your mouth, move your shoulders back, let the exhale fully release itself to the bottom of your lungs. Send that through. Go ahead and just take some gentle circles your head. Just slow circular motion. Your head in one direction all the way around. Very slowly move it in the opposite direction all the way around. Press your left ear toward your left shoulder and just bring your focus of your right shoulder head like you're pulling it gently. That's the key word, gently, down to toward the floor. It just gives you a little more stretch. And as you take in a breath, you're lengthening the muscle on the right side of your neck. And when you exhale the breath out, you are relaxing and therefore releasing musculature on the right side of your neck. Simple as that. After that, press your right ear to your right shoulder and envision your left shoulder, the top of it, is gently being pulled down from your left ear. Breathe in right now. Breathe it out, all the way out. Press your chin towards your chest, like you're pushing your upper back away from you. Pull your chin straight up toward the ceiling, in my case, the sky. Turn your head to the right. Turn your head slowly left over your shoulder. Bring all 10 of your fingertips together in front of you, please. Gently touching. The palms have space between them. Your arms are resting on your legs, the top of your thighs. Could always pause this and decide to get it even more comfortable and put a blanket or pillow under your forearms. Take some of the weight and some of the semi-contracted muscle effort in your upper back and shoulders. Take some of that out. Why are we doing all this? We're doing it for a very simple reason. If you're physically tense in the upper back, shoulders, and chest, neck, you're going to be more in your head. You're going to not be able to breathe as freely. And if you can't breathe freely, you cannot relax. I have been living out so many situations fighting to breathe rather than leaving those situations. I didn't really believe that life could be easy and that breath could be effortless and therefore life could have a sense of safety and peace. So I kept always working with situations and feeling I had to stay put in situations and make them work. Jobs, relationships, home, environments that I couldn't relax in. Bottom line. And I came to meditation kicking and screaming because my head was crashing waves of a lot of deep anxiety, inner turmoil, PTSD, just deep fear, because I had those life experiences and I never really could heal that. So I'm grateful that I found this, because that's the only place I'm talking to you from today. If I can get you to physically feel a little better and release tension, we feel better, right? Then I know your mind could feel a little bit more relaxed too, to focus. If I can release physical tension alongside you, guiding you through that, then I know you can breathe a little more freely. And if you can breathe a little more freely, you're going to be able to concentrate better. Go figure. First, your thumb tips are touching. You put your physical eyes on your thumb tips and you look at your thumb tips. And you get so engrossed in the feeling of your thumb tips touching that that's how you know they're touching. That you don't need to think it or overthink it. You feel it. Really simple. Your physical, actual thumb tips are really touching. Your body knows this. But if your head is off in the clouds, or if your head is thinking about other things, then you won't pay attention to the feeling. And you'll have to concentrate harder. See, this is just easy. It's simple. Into a mind that's had a lot of thoughts, crashing wave thinking. It doesn't mean it's easy. Simple doesn't always mean easy. Go figure. Although it really is. Once the mind gets on board with the body. You physically feel your thumb tips touching? As soon as you connect to that, you're in meditation. And you're allowed to have it and then feel like you lost it. Especially if you're newer to meditation. Physical thumb tips, your focus is on those physical thumb tips touching. The physical feeling is how the message of the body communicates to the mind, hey, you're doing this. You've got this. If you lose that focus and you get lost on your usual dusty trail of usual thinking mind. You're normal. We're not here to, solve this all in one meditation. But when you realize that, go, oh yeah, okay, physical thumb tips touching. If you have to come back to that again and again, do it. No shaming, no criticism, no inner judging. Physical thumb tips touching, period, the end. Feel the physical thumb tip, your physical thumb tips touching. You'll feel a physical sensation of your thumb tips, and it'll communicate to the mind, I got it. And you drop down into that. So that's why we took you through stretches and a little bit of breath work, to drop you out of the usual head chatter. Go underneath the surface of your usual crashing surface thinking. Go deeper. Dig a little deeper. You'll strike oil. Thumb tips are physically touching. Your eyes are either open or closed, but you're going to bring your focus now to your first fingers touching. They're already touching. The thumb tips touching is where you first started. That's like, your key in the ignition. And you'll walk through this, and then it's like, wow, it gets stronger and stronger. First fingers are going to make it a little stronger. First fingers are touching. Feel the weight of your hips and legs and feet sink in a little further into whatever they're sitting on. For me, it's a hard-ass rock. My blanket makes it a little more cushier, not much though. Your first fingers are touching. Feel them. You'll know it when you feel them. Your mind will know it too. See, the body tries to communicate to us all the time through feeling, but our mind wants to have all this commentary, especially if what we feel isn't going to be agreeable to somebody else. We'll have an inner battle with ourselves instead. Or we'll have to mask our feelings and all this ridiculous human drama. When really the truth is a lot simpler. But people don't take that phrase, I don't know, I just feel it, as something serious. In fact, you're usually called a flake or a nut. You're not a nut, you're not a flake, you're not crazy, you're an empath. You use your physical feelings as a barometer for truth. Your first fingers are touching. Feel your physical first fingertips touching. Feel the physical connection. How do you know there's a connection? Because you feel it. Period. The end. And when your mind wants to wander off, maybe the sound of the waves be in front of me and around me might make you say, oh, I got distracted. Listen to my voice. Let it be a beacon that guides you home. First fingers are touching. Come back to first fingers. Your thoughts can spin you right out. Come back. And as much as you get spun out and get thrown out to sea, come home. Physical, first fingers touching. Go now to your middle fingertips touching. If you feel the pace of this picking up, you're intuiting that, you're right. It's starting to get really cold out here. And I'm not going to rush you, but I'm going to move a little faster. Middle fingertips touching. Your middle fingers. Feel them touching. Your thinking mind will get the light bulb. I feel them. I feel them. I'm doing this. Look, Ma, no hands. And usually in those moments, we'll lose our train of thought. That's just because you think a lot. It's because you're in your head a lot. People that are, and this isn't a put down to anybody, but people that are more body oriented, like you're actual physical body oriented, you use your body, you are athletic, you do yoga, you run. People that are more in touch with their body and nature are usually able to have a little more connection to this. People that live more in their head usually have a lot more going on in their mind, so they could struggle. I'm asking you to feel your middle fingertips. That's your body. I'm not asking you to think if your middle fingertips are touching. I'm asking you to make it short and sweet and physically feel the middle fingers touching. There's your connection. Your mind knows the connection. Your body isn't lying to you. And yet we've been taught to turn away from what we feel as though it's not real. Middle fingers touching. Take in a breath. When you're ready to clear the exhale, open your mouth really wide, do it. Breathe in again. Take your exhale and beam it straight into strengthening the concentration, mind to middle fingers touching. When we release the exhale, we drop you more down into your body, where the magic is happening. Your third fingertips, bring your concentration to your third fingers. They were already touching. Your mind's just now going to be awake to it and plug it in as real. Third fingertips touching. They're your third fingertips. Perhaps you will not focus on yourself another minute the rest of today or evening because you're more focused on others. But I promise you, third fingertips touching, please. I promise you that if you give a little bit of attention to yourself and quiet those voices in your head, quiet the thoughts in your head. And by voices, I don't mean like you're a nut. I mean quiet down the voices of other people who told you this and told you that and said you shouldn't feel that way, or you're bad for feeling that way, or you shouldn't believe what you feel, you shouldn't believe what you know to be true. Quiet some of that down. You have a deeper wisdom within you. It's buried underneath all that. Your third fingers are touching. Mine are frozen. Ironic, because I'm shivering and I'm shaking in a blanket, but I'm not willing to get in my car yet because I really want to help get you through this. And I don't want to break the concentration or risk falling off these rocks while trying to lead you. I promise if you give a little more attention to yourself in a way that quiets yourself and gives you a little more space and room for inner peace and quiet, your whole day with the way you interact and deal with others will be far, far different. Therefore, better. Your third finger's touching. I promise you, that if you meditate and you find a deeper calm inside yourself, that you will be less reactive the rest of today. Your responses to life will have less of a charge emotionally. Your third fingers are touching. Do you physically feel them? Bring your attention to your pinky fingers, please. Feel your breath. I want you to feel how your breathing does itself. And it does itself just fine when you're not thinking about it and when your mind's a little bit more peaceful. When you're peaceful with your thinking, emotionally you're going to feel better. From those spaces, you sync those up, your breathing's got a lot more, effortlessness to it. Your pinky fingers are physically touching. As you focus on your pinky fingers, let your mind hear the waves. I'm with you wherever you are, but you're with me while I'm right here. Pinky fingers are touching. Just let the mind physically feel that the pinky fingers are indeed touching. Notice that when the mind is just focused on the fingertips, there's less space for thinking. When we quiet down thoughts that hold the energy of worry, fear, stress, anger, we handle things better. We show up better. We show up bigger. We think bigger. We think higher. When we relieve some of that in our head, we feel less burdened emotionally. And yeah, our body does feel better as a result. A lot of us don't just have verbal reactions. A lot of us have a reaction to stress, fear, pain, worry. And we try to quiet it down and pacify it with a lot of substances out there. Whether it's a hero sandwich or heroin, whether it's, candy or a cigarette, biting our nails or booze. See, as we quiet down on the inside, we're less likely to feel the need to panic and reach for those things. As we feel a little more calmer on the inside, we want to keep that calm. All 10 of your fingertips are touching now. We want to keep that calm. We can be more in control. Less reaction, we do feel more in control. Less fear, we do show up bigger. From a place of peace, our nervous system comes out of fight or flight. And the more we practice meditation, the more we strengthen our nervous system to be more balanced and grounded in stressful situations. We can handle them with more leadership, with more direction. When we decide that our feelings are real, they're valid, and we believe that, we trust it, our life can be pretty amazing. All 10 of your fingertips are touching. I teach this practice of meditation for a shit ton of reasons. To shave off a little suffering for you in any of the ways that I too have also probably endured, and then some. But also because I'm becoming aware, wow, just feeling my 10 fingertips touching makes me tune into my body's guidance throughout the day, whether it's food I choose or people. It's like no longer do jobs that don't really fulfill me because I wasn't feeling it. But I told myself for so long that I had to do it. I had to make things work. I had to try harder. I had to pay bills. Kind of recognizing that the more I didn't pay attention to what I was truly feeling and feeling connected to in good ways, or I disbelieved it, or I let somebody else talk me out of it, I've suffered. I've suffered in ways I can't get back. I don't want that for you. Okay? Yes, I want you to be more focused behind the wheel. Yes, I want you to be less anxious. Yes, I want you to listen to your body's feelings and go to the doctor if you need to. Yes, I want you to have more presence of kindness, and if you're calmer inside, you're kinder, you're patient, you're compassionate, you're more present. But I also really want you to know that your intuition exists, and it's through feeling. And when our thinking mind is trampling that subtle feeling, or we've got somebody else trampling us for what we know to be true, we'll suffer. And I know that suffering is real. So I'd like you to use meditation as much to heal your mind. If it's stressful, if it's worried, if it's frightened, if it's fearful, if it's upset, if it's afraid of what's going to happen next, that's trauma. That's you living through traumas. They were real, and you probably didn't know how to shut off the fight or flight any better than me. But I also know that if I can help you quiet your head down and pay more attention to your gut feeling, whether it's to don't take that highway that day, whether it's to call that person because you didn't realize they were going to die a few days later, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I want you to be paying more attention to your physical body sensations of the heart and the gut, and use your meditation as a practice, a training ground, if you will, to plug back in and start believing again in your intuition. Might save your life. Might save you from years of being in a job that you're in because somebody else wanted you to be, but you weren't really feeling it. Might help you find courage to get out of something that you knew inside wasn't your thing, wasn't right for you. But other people wanted you there, expected you there, and you needed their popular vote with you. Hello, codependence. So if you practice any of that, in addition to being clearer and more alert and more focused and quieter in your head, so you can be actually present to the day-to-day that you're living, then there's some of the stuff I had to go through was worth it, because it helped me be a voice to prevent something in your life that I lived out to learn from through those losses, just because I didn't trust my intuition. It seems so simple, and simple seems too easy. But I think we need to get back to simple, because that's where the sacred is. Enjoy the waves that you hear around you, and hopefully you're hearing less of the chatter in your mind. I'll see you again. Take care, okay? My heart to your heart. Namaste.